We are here at the OK Then Show.
Yes.
Chyna Elizabeth.
Hey, y'all.
So y'all know I'm the madre, right?
I'm the daughter, Chyna Elizabeth.
And we have some guests here today on the OK Then Show.
Yes.
We have two phenomenal friends of mine. Well, they're friends and family. Connie is like a sister to me. And of course, Tyra is like a daughter. She calls me Auntie Titia, but she's like a daughter as well. But we're going to get into it really quickly. So I'm going to let Connie, first of all, tell who she is and how we know each other.
I am Connie Fernandez, and we know each other. Well, when did we meet?
I was pregnant?
I was pregnant with Tyra. Wow, that was a long time ago.
How long ago? How old are you?
Long time.
22. I'll be 23 in October.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's how long we've been friends.
That's a long time.
That is very long.
Wow.
And so then, what did we start doing, like, immediately after we started connecting? We had this thing where I would come to her house and you would make me what?
Oh, my gosh. So it's called French loaf bread. By, I think it's by Pillsbury. And I made it all the time at dinner time. And Titia happened to be over there. And Lord, she loved the bread. So every time she saw me, it was like,
When you make me some of that bread?
like, Lord, the bread.
You done saw something that you didn't know you was not going to be able to finish.
Oh, God. It was good, though.
Yeah, I'm
And we had plenty of good conversations over that bread. So whenever she would make it, I would come over, have lunch with her. And the thing about Connie is Connie has 6 children. And so when I reference her as my friend, I always say, you know my friend with the 6 kids.
Every time. That's what she does.
I've been trying to sneak in. Like, okay, they're good.
Big old Connie, she got 6 kids.
Lord have
Yeah,
mercy.
she does it every time.
Every time. Yeah.
And then there's Tyra.
Yeah.
So Tyra, do you remember your first connection with me, even though you were very small, of course? But do you have any recollections of our childhood memories at all?
The first memory that I can actually remember is at India's 18th birthday party, my oldest sister's 18th birthday party, and I did a praise dance that day and she did my makeup, and that's the earliest memory that I have.
Was that fun?
You were so fun. That's the earliest memory though. And that was, how old was I? Like
I don't know, girl. You're going to have me
8?
trying to do
I mean,
math.
I think maybe 7 or 8.
But that's still great that I was memorable at 7 or 8, even though I was just doing your makeup. I love that.
That is hilarious.
I remember that though. I remember that day.
But do you remember Chyna? Because you all are really good friends.
I really don't. I know.
Well, I have pictures though. Like
we have pictures.
We have lots
like
of pictures.
Very, very young.
Yeah.
But I can't remember which is so crazy because we was a lot older. But the first thing I remember us doing together was when we sang at the House of Blues.
Oh,
yes.
I forgot about that.
Don't you do that? Yeah.
We definitely did that. Well, actually, no. So my birthday party, I had a sleepover at your house. Well, it was our house then. I was living there.
She said your house.
Yeah.
Did you live?
Like you wasn't living there.
Did you live with me?
I was living there. I don't live there anymore, guys.
Yeah.
But it was a sleepover, and you came, and we had like a whole fashion show. We used the hallway as a fashion show.
I don't remember that.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, you were definitely there.
I don't remember that. You remember it?
I remember it.
I don't remember.
Yeah, you came because, again, so Connie is the kind of mom, she does not allow her children to stay at another person's home. That was just her rule, period. And so I remember being the first friend that she allowed all 6 of her children to come and stay at my house.
I think Tyra was like
I was in diapers. I had to be in diapers.
Tyra was
Did
6
I
months.
stay?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, you stayed too. Because I was
wow.
like, I got them, and the older kids were saying, "Mom, we're gonna help. Like, we'll help her."
Oh, yeah, 'cause
and
they were there.
And
Your
Connie was
kids
like,
weren't even thinking about Tyra.
No, they weren't.
they were having so much fun at that house.
Oh my
They were like, I had Tyra, but everybody else was like, "What we
Because
doing?"
didn't you say like you let them ride bikes in the house?
I did. I used to let
She
the
didn't do
kids
that.
ride
That
the bikes.
was with my dad.
Yes, yes.
I'm not. I was a baby too.
Yeah, that big, it was a big house.
Yeah.
The bikes stayed in the house.
Yeah.
Y'all rode the big wheels, the bikes, the scooters,
Everything in the
Oh
house.
my
in the
gosh.
house.
Yeah,
Wow.
because I had a thing like you had to think about not letting your kids stay at other people's house. Well, I had to think about my kids playing outside. So my thing was they're gonna play inside as if they're outside.
Yeah.
So they rode their bikes in the house.
Everything was inside.
They played sports in the house because we had a big enough space.
I mean, baseball.
Yeah,
Like
they did
Christmas.
everything.
Yeah.
I've seen videos.
I couldn't even imagine that because we could not.
Yeah.
We could not. No.
And everybody's different. That's just the difference in raising families.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we've said, but we're talking about the baby privilege.
Yes, that's today's episode.
Yes, and so Tyra is the baby of 6, right?
Yes.
So we want to get into it with them, talking about some of the privileges that she may or may not have had, or just what it was like living as the 6th child.
Yeah.
So we're going to jump right into that. So Connie, you being the mother, do you remember something specific about Tyra, even as a baby, that you saw different from the other 5 children?
Definitely. The first thing I noticed about Tyra, I was so excited about it, was she was an artist. You know, she was. I've always wanted to be like in acting or singing. I was that kid that pretended in the mirror.
Yeah.
And so my 5 other kids, not.
They were doing it back.
They were athletes.
They were athletes through and through. They wouldn't,
Yeah.
I don't want to take a picture. And Titia actually
Oh yeah, I remember
yes.
was the first person who was like, she needed to be modeling at 6 months old. Tisha saw it in her, and that's all I needed to hear. Can you do some headshots? But that was the big difference with Tyra, and I was in love with it because I got to take her on auditions. Oh, I was in my glory doing that.
I love it. That's so awesome.
So do you remember that, Tyra?
Oh, I do.
As a
I do.
child?
I think that that's probably one of the biggest things that I got that my siblings may not have because I'm a baby by such a long shot. Because the closest in age to me is 7 years.
Oh, wow.
And then my oldest brother is about 15 and a half, I think, years older than me.
Wow.
So we got a lot of one-on-one time together. And a lot of that was going to auditions. She would help me, okay, no, do this and change this line and do this. And it was actually really fun. Like, we spent a lot of time together. And it
That's
actually was
awesome.
really great.
That's great.
Yeah.
So in that process, when you were getting to see her bloom, like what did you see about her personality that was standing out as opposed to the other kids?
Tyra was very, very focused. Very focused. And one of the things that I loved about Tyra was her uniqueness. Tyra would learn lines in the car at 5 years old on the way
To the audition.
to the audition.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
I'll be driving.
I can't, you can give me the line right now. I'm not going to know it 10 minutes from now.
I'll be driving, guys, and I'm giving her line. I'm trying to read and drive. Lord, thank you for keeping.
Okay.
And then Tyra, she get to the audition, and not only did she know the lines, guys, she knew how to get into character. She was such a natural at it, and I was so proud.
Yeah.
That's so great.
Aw. Do you remember those moments, Tyra?
I do. It was a lot of teaching and doing that together because she actually helped me a lot. I mean, she's never had training or anything, right? And
I
she
just knew what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I knew I had it in me.
Yeah, I remember
to
that. Yeah, I would leave school early and literally she would give me the script and I'm in the backseat of the car and I'm learning the script on the way there, and by the time I'm there, I've got it and we're good to go. Yeah.
So did that come naturally for you? Like, did you just automatically know that's something that you wanted to
guess
do?
so.
Or
I don't really
Did you
know
see
how I got
something?
into it. Actually,
It was
Do you
one of
know?
those things that she just naturally evolved in. She just, it was just part of her makeup.
yeah.
And I enjoyed it.
And so
I
it
enjoyed
just all came. That's when I knew this is what Tyra was born to do.
That is so
Even if
great.
she doesn't know it when she got older,
Yeah.
that's what Tyra's born to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thanks, Mom.
Okay, so we're hearing all the sweet stuff. So, Tyra, would you say when the word spoiled, when I say that, what does that mean to you?
I got so much leeway that my siblings did not get. I mean, I'm number 6, so absolutely I was spoiled. I mean, they got in trouble for things that I didn't get in trouble for when I was younger. Like, there were things that I did, things that I said, you know, as a child that they would have never gotten away with, you know.
And they made it known.
They made it known. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still got my behind whooped. Okay,
Yeah,
like don't get me wrong. That was still a thing.
Count on one hand.
Oh.
But they were some good ones though. I remember there were some good ones.
Right.
No, like I was still disciplined.
When I got it, I got it now.
That's true. But I will say, I feel like I was, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Mom, but I actually think that I was a pretty good kid. I had a smart mouth. That was my big issue when I was a kid. But I feel like other than that, I feel like I was a pretty good kid. Would you agree?
Say that?
I would say Tyra was an amazing kid. She was very good. But because I instilled in all of my kids, you speak up for yourself. I need to know how you feel. She took it literally.
Yeah.
Like literal.
Yeah.
I'm like, you could do it
outspoken one.
respectfully.
This is what I got to say, okay?
You know, so yes, Tyra,
I love it.
for the most part, you know, and as far as me being lenient, you know, she's number 6.
Yeah.
She was tired.
My sister was tired.
Tired.
Like, what
Right.
up? How you doing?
She got a lot of grace.
Yeah.
A lot of grace.
That's
Wow.
I think
great.
it still turned out all right though.
She turned out amazing. She's an amazing
I think I'm okay. Look.
I didn't have that leeway.
You sure didn't.
Leniency.
You sure didn't.
Don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I said something smart, you're getting smacked upside the head.
I mean, I did get popped in my mouth.
Yeah.
That was quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tyra
I got
tried
popped.
me a lot, but you know, it wasn't like that. You don't get a chance to even go a crooked way.
Yeah.
You know,
But I also respected you. Like you were.
she respected me.
Yeah. As a
I
parent,
was
I feel
going
like
to say
she
she
did good.
knew how far to go.
Yeah, I didn't go through. I didn't.
I love that.
That's good.
She knew the boundaries.
I knew. Yeah. This is how far I can go. I went right here. Right on the line. I ain't gonna pass it though.
But she always said, I want to push this button, but
I'll rethink it a little bit.
no, I don't think I'm going to push that button
Yeah.
today.
That's so funny. Kids be knowing though. We know exactly.
We know what
where
we
to
can get
go.
away with.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
We're gonna push them.
So what was the time? What was that time where you felt like you had to knock her upside of the head?
Wait, do you remember that one time? I think we were living in the apartments and I gotten permission from another adult or something. It might have been another family member.
Yes, I know
This
what
was
you're
actually the
about to say.
last whipping that I got.
How old were
And
you?
I was a teenager, I think, right?
You were
Or
in
a
junior
preteen.
high?
Maybe 12.
Yeah.
12, 13.
Okay.
And I got permission from like another adult. I think it might have been an aunt to walk to. We lived like right next to a grocery store.
Okay.
And all of my cousins, we all lived in the same apartment complex. So I got permission from one of my aunts to go with my cousins and walk to the grocery store.
That sounds like a problem.
And I get back home because I also didn't necessarily tell her. I didn't have a cell phone at the time, I don't think. So she didn't really know that that's where I went until I got back. That was a sad day.
But
No, so finish with the rest of it. Don't be leaving us on.
what happened?
I actually don't remember. The last thing I remember is I
So
got a
you
whooping.
blacked out.
That was
The traumatic
a little traumatic. No, it wasn't traumatic. It was just
Mother to mother, it's one of those things where your child know that's not what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
You know you're not supposed to walk to the store, whether it's with somebody or not.
Yeah.
And so another adult gave him it. What did I say?
Yeah. She
No, I've
crossed
had-
the line.
yeah.
She crossed
Yeah,
the,
a
she
little
hit the
bit.
permission line.
She broke that boundary,
Yeah.
so yeah.
No, I have plenty of instances like that where I went around and my mom said and would ask another adult and be like, oh, they said it.
No.
I'm not under her roof. Or
yeah.
like,
It's a family member. It's like you know they said.
exactly.
Nah.
I think they
No.
would understand.
Never.
I call
said
that I call that being sneaky.
Yeah. That's called that deception stuff. Where you think you're getting away with something and
I
then
mean, I feel like I wasn't trying to be sneaky. I think I was just like,
Exactly.
oh, I want to go. Let me just go.
yeah,
You know?
Yeah, well, our thought process is, but that's not how that works. That's not normally how the
yeah.
rules go on a normal basis. So the fact that you're doing something that's out of normality says, I'm gonna try it.
I learned that day.
I'm not
I
gonna
didn't
ask
do
my
it again.
mom.
Yeah,
I'm gonna ask another adult.
exactly.
No. I said
That'll
no.
get you in trouble
I said
every
no.
single time.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah. I learned the first time.
Right.
Didn't have to do it again.
So were you a peacemaker in the family, or were you a argumentative child?
I feel like I might have been a little bit more. I feel like now I might be a little bit more of a peacemaker, but I think then when you're the youngest, especially by such a long shot, it's easy to get a little pushed around.
Got
It's
it.
easy for everybody to try to tell you what to do all the time.
Yeah.
So I became extremely defensive. So unless you were my mother, do not say anything to me. Like, do not try to tell me what to do, like, none of that.
Yeah.
So I think that because of that, I became a very defensive child, and then also a person. As I got a little bit older, I had to kind of go through therapy and get out of that. Like, hey, not everybody's out to get you. Not everybody's trying to. I had a little bit of a hard time respecting authority, I think.
Wow.
Other than my mother, because I was the youngest in every room that I went to. It wasn't just in my family. Everywhere I went, I mean, when I had got those acting jobs, I always played the kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
So everybody else was always a lot older. I was always in a room full of adults. So it was...
She was always the youngest one on
I was
set.
always, yes. Yeah. And you're always treated like a child. Everybody's, go over there and go to bed and go, this is an adult conversation. So it was always like a shoe kind of thing. So, I mean, that was kind of the thing that made me a little like, all right, well, I got to stand up for myself, and you ain't gonna talk to me any kind of way. So I kind of got a little like that. So I feel like that's kind of why I became such an argumentative child, I feel like.
Did you see that?
I agree, yes.
You saw that in her?
Well, yeah. I mean, and it's one of those things where I would sit sometimes and talk with her and just try to encourage her, you're only you're only this age, they're older, just trying to explain to her. But I felt for her. I had empathy for her. I understood, but it was the way it was.
Yeah.
Because she would always get kicked out of the room. Like if all the siblings, they need to talk about something.
Yeah, because she was
Well,
younger.
her ears couldn't hear what they were talking about. So I understood why they kicked, say, Tyra, you can't be in here. So I would tell them, guys, you guys have to create something else
To talk about. Or include her.
to include her. Right.
Yeah.
But it wound up never really happening because, they would always just go in the room and talk. But
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
now
she
we're great.
became, now everything is good, but she
Yeah.
did become very defensive and argumentative. And
Yeah.
she became very angry.
Yeah, I became very
So having anger and feeling like you have to defend yourself, they don't go very well together.
And it also became, because a lot of that also, especially when you're the youngest by that far, you kind of lose your sense of belonging. So I remember feeling like I didn't belong to my family because like all of the memories that they have, I don't have those. Like I don't remember those. My sister asked me yesterday, Tyra, do you remember, all those trips we took to New York every year? And I'm like, I remember one.
Wow.
And that's it. And a lot of the memories that they talk about when we're all around as a family, I don't remember them. And I mean, they try to include me a lot of times. I mean, it's really not a big deal now, but when I was younger, it was really hard. But I mean, now I'm like, I don't really care. But
And I felt so bad.
I mean, but especially the older I got, I definitely tried to focus on gratitude and
That's
what I
beautiful.
did get out of being the youngest, because I have 5 examples.
Yeah.
They all are different personalities. They all made their own mistakes. Oh my gosh, I've learned so much and am so much further ahead than they were at my age because I was able to learn from them. And I was a sponge. I watched everything.
Yeah, she did.
Everything. And I'm going to learn from it, and I am not going to repeat it.
And I see it today.
Wow.
I'm always telling her, I'm so proud of you. She came to me, she said, Mom, I can't, I hate school. I said, well, do something about it. But you have to get your diploma. She graduated a whole year early.
Wow.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So you were aggressive in making sure that you were getting things done. You felt the need to finish well, it sounds like, too. Even though you may not have liked it, you still felt the need to finish well, which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that's one thing I was very serious about it. With my school, I had to get straight A's. I had to be in dual credit classes. Like I had to be one of the top ranking students. And I honestly feel like now looking back, I feel like I kind of put my identity in that because I felt like I didn't really belong anywhere else. And it's like, maybe if I can be the best here, they'll see me.
Wow.
You know, because you can start to feel invisible.
Wow.
When you're, so it's almost kind of like I have to do something so that they accept me or that I'm involved, and like they want to involve me in the conversation instead of pushing me into the room, you know, that kind of thing.
That's so good.
Yeah. So it kind of all, I feel like I focused, it kind of all ties together, and I feel like I focused a lot of that into school, and I had to unlearn that the older I got, because it's like, hey, that's not who you are.
So how do you even unlearn those things, or how did you get over the anger and the different things that it affected you? Like, that's a lot of healing and a lot of work that has to be done internally.
I think number one, I think part of that is just maturing and growing, you know, because it's like, okay, are you going to be upset and angry about how you grew up when you look back and realize I have an incredible, loving, supportive, amazing family, you know, and I saw, especially when I got to college, I was only there for a semester, but especially when I got to college and seeing like other families, or even in my like peers in high school, and you see their family dynamics, and it's like, no, I'm gonna be grateful for what I have, you know, like
on things.
So I became really grateful for that, focusing on gratitude, focusing on the good things, and then also just kind of therapy and Jesus. I mean, you know, it's I don't do this whole like I'm the victim and woe is me. It's like, no, I mean, these are the cards that I was dealt. I'm gonna make the best of them, and we're gonna move on, and we're gonna grow. And that's just, you know, I'm not gonna sit in anything, you know.
That's so good, because a lot of people aren't like that. Like the way that you're saying it, making it like it's so simple, it's a lot of people that do dwell in the past and don't know how to, you know, change their thought process. So that's amazing. That ain't something that people do all the time. So don't take it lightly. Okay, y'all, I think it's time for a little makeup break. I feel like my gloss is like getting a little dry or whatever.
Well, if you insist.
Okay, then.
I got my powder right here waiting for me.
My little crease.
Let me see what I'm looking like up here.
You're looking good over there.
My little T-zone.
Are you doing a selfie on the
I need to look at my look at my hair. Look at my hair.
Okay. I'm doing my gloss.
All right, I think I'm good.
Is my hair big?
Y'all taking a whole hour with y'all. Just right.
Oh yeah, my hair.
They taking a whole 15 minutes.
They still going.
That's your mama.
Okay then.
Still going.
Okay, I'm ready.
We good. We good.
All right. Good. I'm good.
So then.
Oh man.
So we were talking to Tyra.
Yes.
And Tyra was just telling us about the process of being the youngest child of 6 and how she had to overcome feeling being pushed out a lot of times because she was the youngest one in the room. So I just want to know too, one of the things you said Jesus was one of the reasons that you were able to overcome some of the anger that you had. So tell us the influence of that relationship through your parents and how that helped you overcome a lot of those things.
I think a big part of my foundation is this one line that my mother would always say to me is, Tyra, it is not about you. Every time. Like when I used to praise dance at church when I was little, and I'm like, I don't feel like doing this. I don't like my hair. I don't this. And she would look at me and be like, it's not about you. Who are you ministering for? Who are you? And it's a lot of it is I can't bless anybody, and I can't encourage other people or whatever I need to do if I'm not healthy and if I'm not whole, you know. And a lot of that is, you better start talking to Jesus about it. Is, you know, like it's that idea. And I think even now I'm still growing my faith and my foundation, because a lot of it came from my parents. But the older I got, the more I had to be like, okay, I have to have my own relationship. So I think a lot of that is, there was no mistake. If he wanted me to be born closer to my siblings' age, that would have happened. So this was for a reason. Let's find out.
Wow.
And really lean into that, you know, because everything is on purpose. that my mom used to always say that scripture to me, you are beautifully and wonderfully made, all the time. And she just instilled that in me. And I just had to start believing that and trust that there were no mistakes and trust that God made me the way that he wanted to be and when he wanted me to be born. And I just feel like that's what I had to lean into and trust and honor and lean into. Yeah.
That's so beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
And I was thinking when she was saying beautifully and wonderfully made, she had me in mind when she was reminding you that, because she was saying,
where is this going?
Oh, if she could just be like Auntie Titia.
I already knew.
I was hoping, maybe it's not gonna go there. I don't know, but what you thinking? Okay, still going.
Right.
Still going.
I just had to. Y'all open the door.
Man.
There was no door open. She just busted her way in.
Knocked it down.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, Connie, as a mom, for her, bringing her into the knowledge of Christ, what was it like being that she was the sixth child? Did you make it any different than you did the other kids, or was there a special time for her because she was the youngest?
I think it was different, but yet the same, because it was like a different realm, different year, and kids are not thinking the same way they thought when we were taking the older kids to church.
Yeah. So
you kind of have to go with the flow, because you have to kind of not keep up with the world, but the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy, and every day it gets worse.
Yeah.
And so you gotta kind of like stay one step ahead of the enemy.
Yeah.
And so with Tyra, she was just so matter of fact, this is the way it is, type of thing. So I had to encourage her a lot to try to break her. And the way that I encouraged her was with the truth, not mom's truth. I would tell you some things about mom, but I really had to go to the Bible with Tyra.
Now, when you say break her, you mean because she was stubborn, or she had thoughts of her own where you wanted her to be clear on some things, or she had a lot of questions? Like, what was that for her?
Okay, so breaking Tyra, she was very stubborn.
Okay. That's what I was feeling you was feeling.
Yeah, she was very stubborn. And when she thought something or felt like something was a certain way, that's just the only way, as far as she was concerned. So I had to try to no time. And it was, let me tell y'all something, it wasn't easy with the last one, because I'm like so out of energy.
Got it.
And it's like so much more work with her.
Yeah. It felt like it.
It felt like I was exhausted.
Yeah. I'm tired.
Yeah, she wasn't expected. It was a big surprise.
Wow.
Mentally, emotionally, I was done having kids.
Yeah.
Wow.
And God said, no, you're not.
So, the fifth child, between the fifth child and the sixth child, it was how much time apart?
7 years.
7 years.
So she was a 7-year surprise.
Yes. Because the number 4 and 5 were twins.
Right.
So y'all know I was tired.
You were like, that's enough.
That's it.
And then here I come. Surprise.
I think that is so beautiful.
I had a lot of help, though. A lot of help. Her
Yeah.
siblings, they spoiled her as well.
Okay.
That's a whole nother story. She had those issues, but just know
They spoiled me.
her.
I love my siblings. Yeah, it was great.
So would you say you all were very tight? You were very close growing up? Explain that.
I think when I was younger, not as much. But when I was younger, it was more of I had a second mom kind of, and my older sister. And then my older brother was like, oh my gosh, we were just two peas in a pod. It was really great. So I wouldn't say it was, I wouldn't say we were super close, but it felt like it was a really different kind of relationship. I don't even know how to explain it. But when we got older, then those conversations became a little bit deeper. They became a little bit different. And I think we got a lot closer then as we became older, because I couldn't really have conversations with them when I'm 6 years old and they're, 12 and 15. I can't. So yeah, I mean, it had its challenges, but overall, I mean, my My love's great. I had a great childhood.
Yeah.
I have a great adulthood. I love my family. I love when I hang out with them. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's
Yeah, we have a lot of fun.
yeah.
When did you feel like your siblings were respecting your thought processes and
When I made them. I don't.
Yep.
I feel I had to create my own space. Like there's no I just feel like I had to create my own, and you're not going to tell me this and that. I have my own thought process. Now, of course, now I'm way more like, hey, let me learn. What do you have to say? You know, but before I was like, I don't care.
And what brought you to that place?
I think just maturity. I think I just got older and I grew up.
And you said you had gone through therapy. What was that like?
That was a lot of figuring out the root cause of a lot of my issues, because I just like had an attitude and just was so defensive just all the time. And that got exhausting kind of, because I'm always in self-defense mode. And that is really exhausting. It's awful.
And you realized it, or somebody made you realize it?
I think the older I got, my siblings started saying like, hey, they pointed it out, you know, but in a loving, in a really loving way.
Okay.
Yeah, they would say it to me and just say, hey, I mean, I think you might want to.
They would come to me all the time.
And
Mom,
yeah.
she's so mean. She's so this. She's go have a conversation with your sister.
So that, and I'm really grateful for that they came to me about that, because I could have, if they would have never said anything, who knows how long, you know, that would have taken. So I'm really grateful to them for loving me enough.
Yeah.
And to her for
Telling
them to come to me and say something. Yeah. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Connie,
Yeah.
so where you from and stuff?
I grew up in the Bronx, in
The
New York.
Bronx, New York and stuff. So you see how I'm doing when I say stuff like that?
Yeah, I used to do all that.
That
I grew up in the hood.
There's something about when you talk about New York, you just feel like you're supposed to be physical. Like, what we saying here?
I don't know that life.
She taught us to stand up for ourselves with that, though. That was a very don't take nothing from nobody.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's
Yeah, 'cause
balance
I
in
had-
that, of course.
Yeah.
We had to fight. So
But you had to fight. But we're going to end with this final story. You allowed your children to stay at my house for the very first time, because she didn't allow her kids to stay at other friends or families' houses. That was a rule. But I was the first friend that she allowed all of her 6 children to stay at my home. So I want you to remind the people of what that experience was like, and how did you sleep that night? What was it like for you to go through that? Because that was very hard for you.
it was extremely hard. Do y'all see how she act? Like, do y'all? No, I just want y'all to. Who could say no to that? I think what did it for me was, first, you know, we were friends. Titia, she was always there for me. I really didn't have women in my life at that particular time that would tell me, that would give to me what I needed to hear. I was always the giver. And so when she would give that to me, at first I was like, who she think she is? But then I saw how lovingly she was doing that. You know, because you have women in your life and they're so petty and catty, and they tell you things, and that makes you vulnerable to share things with them.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, they betray you. So I was like, I was in my bubble.
Yeah.
You know, but then when Titia came around, I didn't trust nobody. Especially if they were married. But she knew exactly where I was coming from. She would tell me how I felt about the situation before I would tell her how I felt about the situation. So I was like, and then the kids loved her.
We did.
I would go.
All kids love my mama.
I was
I don't get it. But
yeah. So now for the older kids, it was easier for me to say, okay. But with Tyra, Tyra was 6 months old.
Right.
I let my baby go stay in her house.
I'm shocked.
You
I
shocked?
thought I stayed with you. I didn't know I stayed with
No,
her.
you came thing too. I didn't know
And she was like, you could call every 5 minutes if you want to.
Yeah, I was like,
she
just
right
call.
here.
She gonna
and
be
that
right
made
here.
me feel real comfortable too, because I didn't want to feel like I was buggy. But then again, I was like, I don't care. That's my child. I'll come over there and get my child.
But I'm the same way. That's why I love
literally.
because we did a show already about that. When me having to come pick Chyna up.
I saw that show.
I don't play that kind of stuff.
But the experience was, I was really shocked, and I'm so grateful to God because it was at the right time. I needed the rest, not sleep rest, but just mental and emotional rest, because I was always with my kids.
Yeah, all six
They
of
were
them.
always all six of them.
Oh Lord.
So Tisha, I thank you publicly.
Oh,
I thank you.
She was trying to be a serious moment. She just messed the whole thing up. Just messed it up.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I really thank you.
Thank you.
I thank you for your yes to God. You know, I thank you for being truthful. You know,
Thank you.
I really appreciate that.
I appreciate you appreciating that.
Tisha told me you have to. You not only do you have to start trusting people, but you have to trust God. You know, you have to trust God.
Amen.
And that's what did it. I was like, all right. Take the
That was a weird transition that just happened.
All right. That's how it was. Because we were like this. She was like, not only that, Connie, you have to trust God. I was like, all right. Go ahead, take the kids.
Because she was adamant, my kids don't go nowhere.
That's so
yeah.
funny.
You
It
still
was
might have been the
no
only
ifs,
one,
ands,
too.
or but. It was no ifs, ands, or but. She was like, their kids, they don't get to go to other people's houses. And so for me, I really wanted to be a blessing to her. That was my whole point.
And I saw that. I
I
felt
wanted
that.
to not just, it wasn't necessarily just about the trust. I knew she could trust me, but I felt like she needed rest. And I was like, I received taking your children for you to rest. That's all I want. I want you to have some time to just unwind. You are forever parenting. And I felt like she just needed to breathe just for a few minutes. So my thought was, if I can get you to understand, girl, I love your kids, but I'm not about to do anything to harm them. I want seriously you to rest. And so when she got that word, I believe the Lord just ministered to her and caused her to say, okay, because I was just trying to convey to her, He's not going to allow you. You're close enough to me if you need to drive over here, if you need to call every 5 minutes. I mean, I just try to assure her, you have nothing to worry about.
No, that's great.
It was beautiful.
That's great.
I had a beautiful night's sleep.
I bet you did.
Yeah. I didn't have to wake up super early.
Yeah. 6 kids.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know what to do with myself.
And that was all I wanted. So to hear that was such a blessing for me to hear that you had just rested.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what are we okay with,
Yes.
Elizabeth?
What are we okay with? What are you okay with?
I'm okay with not having 6 kids.
Ooh, I would say the same. Hallelujah. I do not see it for my future. I don't even know if I see one. All right. That's what I'm okay with.
So what are you okay with? With all this that we talked about, what are you okay with?
Oh, I'm so okay with all the lessons I learned in it all. Because trust me, there are lessons to learn.
Yeah.
Nothing happens, like Tyra said earlier, there are no mistakes.
Amen. That's good.
There are
Tyra?
no mistakes.
What are you
Well,
okay
I'm okay
with?
with having 6 kids.
Okay, that's wonderful.
I didn't know that.
Oh, really?
I would like 4 at least, and then we'll see what happens because, I'm not a parent, so I don't know if but I loved our family dynamic and having such a big family. It's a lot of love.
That's a beautiful thing, Tyra.
I love that for
And
you.
I'm okay with being an auntie.
Just not you.
Right.
I'm okay with being an auntie.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop them off. I'm dropping them off.
I ain't saying that. I'm busy.
Oh man.
4 to 6 kids?
No, okay. I'm okay with focusing on gratitude in every situation because there's always something beautiful to take out of it. So,
That's great.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yay.
Okay, well, we want everyone to watch every Wednesday at 9 a.m. on YouTube.
Yes. Like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video. Tell us how if you were the baby, tell us the privilege that you had, and if you were spoiled and you spoiled rotten and you still like that, get it together. And yeah, come see us again.
Yeah, and make sure you follow on the Spotify, Apple Music, or all those streamlines that you can
and on social media too, Instagram and TikTok.
like, share. We have a fly in the room that wants to be a part of the show.
Want to be a part of the family.
Y'all
like,
probably saw me
it's here,
swapping.
and it ain't trying to go.
Yeah, Kendra let it in.
I'm about to say they had let it in.
Yeah.
I am very adamant about closing the door as soon as you come in and you see it. I hate bugs,
She mad.
y'all. I
She
hate
mad.
bugs.
She
We is
mad.
in my home radio, and this bug done invaded my space, and I'm not happy about it.
Because Kendra did it.
I feel like I should be
Oh.
myself.
They blamed it on Kendra. I'm just like, I don't know who did it or who did it when, but they need to go.
Well, we're about to end the show, so let's say goodbye.
Okay, then.
Okay, then. Let's try that one more time.
Let's try that one more
Did it
time.
wrong.
Here we go.
Okay.
We're wrapping it up.
Uh-huh.
Okay, then.
Bye.
Bye.